What's up, team? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about accessibility. I'm going to give you 3 strategies you can use on your website, plus 1 bonus tip to work with WordPress and accessibility, but really what we're going to talk about is LifterLMS courses a little bit, but this does work for any website. This is an overview of accessibility. The step 1 or strategy 1 we're going to talk about is the inspector. So Google Chrome has an inspector. You're going to want to use Google Chrome for this. Download it if you don't already use it, but I use it as my default browser. Google Chrome shows us a little bit about how robots view our website, and it can also support us in building accessibility features. Accessibility features work for humans who can't interact with our website in certain ways. Maybe they can't operate a mouse, maybe they can't see, maybe they can't hear. We're going to add features to make sure that the website is usable for them. But it also works for robots that are trying to understand what our website is about. So we get 2 benefits. We get a marketing benefit in the robots, the Google robots and AI robots understanding our website content better, and the human benefit in that more people can use your website, which is really awesome. So inside of our Google Chrome inspector, we can click these 2 little arrows and jump over to Lighthouse. Now, Lighthouse tells us a few things. Lighthouse was acquired by Google and integrated into Google Chrome, which is why I recommend using Google Chrome. It's free, it comes out of the box, it's super easy to use. We can test things like performance. We can see how fast our website loads. We can do things like accessibility. That's what we're doing today. We can do best practices, SEO, and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave the default navigation up top here. We're going to leave performance and accessibility checked and do desktop. I'll do mobile later. But for now, click that Analyze page. It's going to reload your page a couple of times. It's going to check some things and run its diagnostics. You can see the progress bar over here on the right-hand side. And we'll see what's accessible, what's not accessible, and what we need to change. You can see both my performance and accessibility have 90%. Let's scroll down here. So my website's pretty quick, which is great, but let's scroll down to our accessibility audit. This is really what we're talking about today. The background and foreground colors don't have sufficient contrast ratio. Let's see, what's this? This actually may be related to my WordPress header up here. You can see there's like a search bar and stuff. This doesn't need to be accessible because this is my WordPress. That's not for me as a user. But what is for me as a user and what is being highlighted here as an issue is that technology, lifestyle, these category markers don't have sufficient contrast. So you can see there's this dark blue text and then there's a light gray background. It seems like that's not good enough, so maybe we'll turn that color to a darker blue, maybe even turn it to black. But we can do that by editing our site and making that color adjustment. But at least it's telling us we have that color adjustment we need to make it more accessible. And then this is a WordPress admin thing that's related to my little caching dropdown. So lists do not contain only list elements and script supporting elements. So it has an issue with my menu. So there's opportunities to improve the experience for human reading. So this is good to know. We'll go through the menu and work on making sure this menu is a little more readable for screen readers. We can look at the HTML of the menu a little bit and examine kind of what may be going wrong. Maybe there's labels I didn't add, stuff like that. So that's how we can get our level 1 report of what's wrong accessibility wise on our website. Number 2, the second strategy you'll want to use is tabbing through your content. So I can click this tab button. I'm just clicking the tab button on my keyboard and you can see I'm moving through the content on the website. We want someone who's not capable of using a mouse or a trackpad to be able to move through the website by just clicking this tab key and then clicking Shift tab to go up. So it's good to make sure that your website can be navigated this way. And let's see, if I go to learn more and I click enter, it'll take me into the course. I can start tabbing through the content. You can see it's taking me through the admin menu. So make sure you can get through your website with tabs. Make sure you pass that Lighthouse accessibility check. And then after that, the third strategy is to use VoiceOver. I recommend using the default VoiceOver on Mac computer or default VoiceOver on Windows computer. People can download screen readers that are a little bit more supportive than the default screen readers, but not everyone has access to those. So just use your Mac. For me, I'm on a Mac. I would do Command F5. I'm not going to do it now because it crashes my screen recording software when I turn on VoiceOver, but it will use the functionality of these tabs and it will read to me what I'm highlighted over, and it will read to me the text on the page. You want to make sure that you, as probably someone who's sighted, you can close your eyes and you can navigate the website with tabs and hearing what's going on from the screen reader. So if you're blind, you can get through the website. So those are the 3 levels: Lighthouse, using tabs, and using your screen reader. I recommend those 3, and there's also this page of the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. So if you have to meet certain requirements, you can see, I'll move my face here, over on the sidebar, 2.1 is something that's often cited as a necessary level to be at in order to have public institutions work with your website, 2.1, but they'll tell you you need to meet WCAG Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.2, and so that means we need to go through this 2.2. You can see there's all the level 1 stuff we need to make sure our website has, like there's media alternatives, so maybe you have an audio of your lesson, maybe you have text of the lesson, maybe you have a video with subtitles. You can have different media formats for interacting with your website, making sure that it can work on smaller devices, bigger devices, resizing text, image size, stuff like that. All this stuff that's in 1.0 and then up to 2.2 or 2.1, whatever your minimum requirement is. Make sure that like keyboard accessibility is what we were just talking about. But you can run through these requirements one by one and make sure that your website meets these. I would recommend doing this at the end, because once you go through Lighthouse, once you go through tabbing through your content, once you go through the screen reader, a lot of that stuff will be covered. And then you'll just have to make a few changes at the end. So that's my recommendation. And my quick tip is that if you're using an LMS tool, like LifterLMS in this case, you want to make sure that your outline, your course outline, is over on the right hand side here. If it's on the left hand side, it's a little bit confusing to navigate, and I'll show you why. I'm going to swap it to the left hand side so you can see kind of what goes on here. So if I go into my LifterLMS lesson, I swap that to the right side, save it. Oh no, I need to move my face. There we go. Save, reload again. Maybe it'll work. There it goes. So with our outline on the left-hand side here, when I go to tab through the content, let's imagine I'm here. I tab through the content. I'm going through every single lesson in the course before I come over to this side. So I'm going to be like looking at every single lesson title. It's taking me a million clicks now, like 20, 30 clicks. Now I'm over here. And so someone who's sighted, the first thing they would probably look at when they view the page is this course title. And then they would look at this maybe later at the end. And so that's why it's nice to have that column over on the right hand side, because I got to clear my cache again. There we go. Because then someone would start right here and then they would move through the text content. So it's really useful to say, like, this is where a sighted person would first look, so let's make the blind experience highlight the similar elements first. So those are some quick tips on accessibility, specifically with LifterLMS websites. Let me know if you want any more depth on any of these subjects or any of these testing methods, and I'll see you in the next video.